So, Sheila, I'll tell you what, Ann Arbor's the place to age.
It really is. We have dementia-friendly movie theaters.
We have transportation services for folks that need help getting out.
We're basically in a medical mecca.
And we have options for keeping our minds and bodies sharp. You're watching A3 Aging Ann Arbor, where we talk about aging and what you need to know. I'm Faye Molitor.
And I'm Sheila Doden.
Welcome to the show. So welcome to A3 Aging Ann Arbor. We're super excited to have you here for our second episode. And we're in Ann Arbor, and it is the medical mecca. And Sheila and I, over the 14 years of working here, have come across so many different resources in the area and folks that help our seniors.
Yeah, and we're going to give kind of an overview of a lot of the things that we've come across, and our intentions are in future episodes to bring the experts in each one of these topics to talk about, the more in-depth idea of what those resources look like. This is just going to be kind of a general broad overview of it. So
Gotcha. Yeah, excited about that.
Me too.
There's a lot of folks in Ann Arbor that love to talk about what they do.
Sure.
Especially when it comes to helping folks or offering services to keep folks happy and engaged. And man,
well, like we always say, it takes a village.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
And we have a village here. So
yes, we do.
We are definitely in a medical mecca here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
We have multiple medical facilities that surround us within about a 5-mile radius.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful part about those different hospitals, medical centers, is that all of them have a specific area where they can triage folks who are older along with their family members, and they're trained in how to approach these people in maybe a bit of a different way. Mm-hmm. And that's a beautiful thing.
It is so important.
It is. Absolutely. With U of M, University of Michigan Medical Center is about 5 miles away. We've got the Ann Arbor Veterans Hospital, which is very close as well. We've got St. Joe's Hospital, which is right around the corner from us. We've got Turner Geriatric Center, and obviously they specialize in geriatrics, which is the aging population. They seem to do a very nice job of communicating with each other to better help our elders, which is lovely.
It really is. I mean, if there's a place to age, Ann Arbor's the place to age.
For sure.
You couldn't get better resources and have the care needed, if needed, available.
And in our experience, we've experienced our clients being in all of those different medical settings. And, most of the time we get pretty good feedback, about what that looks like for them. And once they're being discharged, they're either going to go home with some in-home services that are paid for, through their insurance by Medicare most of the time, or they're going to go into more of an outpatient rehab setting where they might spend, a couple of weeks to gain some strength. It just really depends on each person's different scenario. If maybe they don't have someone at home to help them, it might be better for them to go into more of that short-term rehab. If they've got folks at home to support them, it might be a better transition for them to go home. So there are options. It's really just a personal choice.
Sure.
And again, we're a resource for people. So if they're calling us and asking us, sometimes those discharges happen really quick, and you're leaning on the staff to help you at the hospitals when they're going home from their discharge planning center to help you make those types of decisions. Yep. But we've had plenty of our clients call us and say, we're being told that mom's going to be discharged, and these are our available options. What might you suggest that we
Sure,
do, because you
sure.
know our mom, you know our dad, you know what might be the best case scenario for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and the beautiful part of that is that 9 times out of 10, we're telling them all of those options are good options. We've worked with all of those folks or companies, and it's really your choice, because they're all good.
Yeah. I mean, there are some minor differences
Sure.
in each one of those settings, but the nice part about it, again, is that, when we've worked with their loved ones, we do understand some of the nuances. And,
Right.
If we can offer up little suggestions that might be helpful to them,
Sure.
they're so appreciative of that.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. If they are going home and it wasn't a situation in the hospital where they needed to go in a rehab and they're just released and going home, but the families have realized that they need some extra support
Sure.
there. There's so many volunteer services in the area too. That can help them with if they can't drive and they need transportation, if they need meals delivered to the home because they can't stand long enough to cook. If it's amazing the different resources that are available. So folks they're going to be taken care of
Sure.
for sure here in Ann Arbor, and there's social workers available at the hospital. There's us when they're calling the office, and many folks that can guide them in that right direction.
Sure.
And explain to them the resources that are available for whatever the need may be, minimally or very large need. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's going home and they need something done to their house in order to accommodate someone
Sure.
living there more safely, there's tons of handyman,
Yep.
resources, and, they can help install equipment,
Yeah.
fixtures in the home that would aid that safety, notation
Sure.
for their loved
Grab
ones.
bars in the shower and ramps if they need a ramp and they can't get into the house without one. Absolutely. It's pretty amazing what can be done to help accommodate folks to get back home and live safely and independently.
Well, and I feel like here, people who make a decision to transition into more of a community per se,
Sure.
that's not for everybody. We touched on that a little bit in our last podcast.
But some people love it. They love the social aspect of it. They're
do.
alone in their home and they just want to be around people. They're lonely. And they have everything right there that they need,
Sure.
including social time with folks that are peers. They're their age.
Right.
So that's so cool. Yeah.
And maybe they haven't really thought about that until they're in a situation where they're feeling like, I am isolated, I am alone, I would like to be in more of a social setting.
Sure.
We've got services that can come in and help people go through that transition. They can help them go through the downsizing process, help them sell their home, maybe talk about, a reverse mortgage to finance some of the cost
Sure.
of transitioning into, independent or assisted living. There's just a lot of different options. Again, it's a very personal choice. And Faye and I really focus on, we keep people at home. It's not to say that, not everybody wants to do that, but, that's what we do.
Well, even if they're not at home, we're working with them. Some people, even in communities, need a little extra support, and our type of home care, the non-medical side, can offer that extra support as minimally or as much as they need. So they still, still can get that extra support if needed. I mean, it depends on when they transition, if it's independent living, if it's assisted living, or if it's, a memory care situation. So, but we'll get into that further on another episode.
Sure.
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah. I mean, along with, talking about people doing things to keep themselves safe in their own homes. You know, we do talk a lot about keeping your mind sharp, keeping your physical, physique sharp. So there's a lot of, options for that when you're transitioning.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options that can be brought to you in your home.
Yeah.
I feel like we can encompass and embody here in the Ann Arbor area pretty much anything anybody would need.
For sure. If folks are wanting to stay home and are still able to get out and still want to, be a part of the community, and they're lonely, maybe they're the only ones living in that home. Mm-hmm. They've lost their loved one. Their kids don't live close. There's senior centers. And they are, amazing in the aspect that they have so many different types of activities, so many events that they offer, and they're meeting friends there, and they're looking forward to going.
They do exercise classes. Yes. They do day trips to the casinos. Mm-hmm. I mean,
arts and crafts. They have music.
Yeah. So there's a lot.
They take trips. Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Like field trips.
Yeah.
How fun is that? Yeah.
I'd get on the bus and go to the casino.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Yeah. So, but there's just there's things like. A local organization called Osher Lifelong Learning. They host a series of events at a movie theater just a mile away from where we're at, and they do that a couple of times a week, and it's all people who are older in the community, that have knowledge on a certain subject, and so they'll come in and present on it, maybe a trip to Ireland if somebody's interested in knowing about what that might look like. I mean, I think Osher has like 1,200 people that are involved.
Oh my gosh,
locally that,
My sister's one of them. She loves it.
Chris
my sister
and
my brother-in-law are definitely part of that organization, or the program, I should say, and they love it. Yeah. They love it. It keeps them sharp.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's learning new things every time you go.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful.
You could even be, they have a lot of knowledge. They could even present
They might
at some
have.
point.
Absolutely. That's the other aspect of it is that, you're sharing your knowledge as well. Yes, you're learning a lot, but you're also offering up education to other people.
Sure. Talk about keeping your mind engaged.
Oh my gosh,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
it's a beautiful
super cool.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. So,
I know. I do too.
Oh, what else?
There is an option too through your Medicare. It's called Sliver Sneakers. Now, I'm not sure if we'd have to do a little more research on Sliver Sneakers as far as, is it an Advantage program? Is it part of an Advantage program, or is it just something that you get with Medicare? But if you are a part of Sliver Sneakers through Medicare, you get a free membership to the Y. Yeah. And they have pools, and they have tracks, and there's socialization there, and oh my God, all the exercise equipment. And you can absolutely utilize that to stay healthy and strong. And the socialization helps your mind. The exercise helps your mind as well. So that's a beautiful thing too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something to look into.
Right, exactly.
For sure. If nothing else, at least look into if you have Sliver Sneakers.
Yeah.
And if you don't, maybe when that enrollment period hits, sign up.
Right. I don't know. Are we old enough to do that yet?
No, but soon.
Okay.
I think mine soon is inching quicker than yours soon.
I agree with that.
But if there is also, a dementia diagnosis or an Alzheimer's diagnosis, and your loved one is looking for maybe a little bit of respite care and wants that person with dementia to be engaged and maybe do some activities or stay active in some way, shape, or form. There's adult day programs for those folks, and there's many of them available here in Ann Arbor.
There sure are.
So.
Yeah, I mean, and if you have a loved one that does have a dementia diagnosis and, you're being provided with some respite by them attending, a day program like that, the Alzheimer's Association here is a huge network, and they do a lot of support groups. They do them virtually, they do them in person. I mean, so for yourself, if you're caring for someone, you could also keep your mind sharp and talk with other folks who maybe have seen some similar things to what you're seeing,
or have some advice for you because they've been going through it a little bit longer.
Sure.
So
you don't have to feel like you're alone.
Right.
Again, it's about taking care of our elders, but it's also really taking care of the people that are taking care of them.
Yeah, that's huge. Folks that are caring for a loved one afflicted with dementia, they forget about them. They forget about taking care of themselves. And if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of your loved one in the best way possible. So it is super important that you do take that time for yourself.
Sure.
And home care, what we offer, our private duty side or non-medical side of home care, we can do 1 hour all the way up to 24 hours. And it can be one day, once a month, one day, once every other month, whatever. We have no minimum. We set our standards on what the need is. So it's really up to the person that is looking for that help or care. And it's an option to be able to have somebody sit with your loved one so you can get out and experience some of these resources in the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like raising awareness about specifically cognitive impairment and helping people better understand. I mean, the population is getting older, and the numbers are going to grow for people who are diagnosed with some form of cognitive impairment.
For sure.
And the number of caregivers that are going to be needed to, be available to help, help these folks is only going to grow.
Yeah.
And that's definitely, a concern. So we want to help people better understand what does that look like.
Sure.
We work real closely with the Alzheimer's Association here. We do a lot of fundraising for them.
Yeah.
The Alzheimer's Association is focused on research and raising awareness.
For sure.
So we do some pretty big events here in the Ann Arbor area that generate revenue for the association to use for research and to bring awareness to the community about dementia and cognitive impairment and Alzheimer's, which is really awesome.
Well, yeah, and the number is growing as far as the amount of people who are diagnosed with some form of dementia. So it is a huge need. And the Alzheimer's Association is amazing. And we've been working with them for 14 years.
Yep.
So, and very proud to say that, we've always supported them and sat on their committee and helped with those events. So we're hopefully be excited to talk to somebody about that on one of our shows as well.
I'm thinking we probably will.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, transportation-wise, for folks to get out and about, of course, our types of services offer that as well. But if you don't need somebody to care for you or you don't need that type of care, there's so many different types of even transportation services in the area. Volunteer services through like Jewish Family Services or Catholic Social Services. But there's also A-Ride. And they work within whatever the income is. It's based on your income, I believe. So you would have to be approved for their services, but they also have like a lift van. So if you're in a wheelchair, they can take you out.
Sure.
So it's just amazing.
I mean, I remember probably 8-10 years ago when we were a large part of the Washtenaw County Consortium.
Yeah.
And we did a lot. It was a 501(c), so we did a lot of fundraising through a large vendor event to share information with the community about, multiple different services.
Yeah.
And at the end, whatever funds we had left over after we paid for the venue and what we charged people, to be a vendor at the event, we would take that money and we would accept grant proposals from, different organizations that were nonprofit who needed a little bit of extra support. And one of the biggest ones that we were so excited to be able to do that for was a transportation service called the Wave.
Yeah.
And it was for people who were in outer-lying areas to the west of us, probably about 20 miles. And they needed to get to U of M Hospital, and they didn't have the ability to be able to do that. And so we were able to provide the Wave with a very surmountable amount of cash to support those transportation services, and that was just really cool.
Now, there's just no better privilege.
I know,
than
right?
being able to help some of these amazing, resources and folks in the community that just want to help folks. It's a good thing. Absolutely. We also have like a city in the Washtenaw County area, a whole city that is now considered dementia friendly.
That's a city I live in.
I know. Isn't that fun? Aren't you so proud of that?
It is.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. So it is Saline. We will tell you it is called Dementia Friendly Saline. And that's so incredible.
Yeah. Just really cool, the concept behind it.
Yeah.
One of the first cities in Michigan to call themselves dementia friendly. Even outside of Michigan,
I think it's even outside. I don't want to give specifics on the numbers or first, second, whatever it is.
Well, I'm sure one of our guests will be able to do that for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and we're very excited, hopefully, to have him on soon. But it is a concept that it's unprecedented, and what a great thought. Yeah. So when we work with folks with dementia, way back when, we started printing these little cards that our caregivers could keep on them. That just was like a little business card that said, I'm working with a person with dementia. So if they were out and about at the grocery store or in a restaurant or at a movie theater, and the person that they were with was having some form of some type of challenge in that moment, our caregiver could just kind of flash that card at whoever it was that may be coming over to handle the challenge or discuss the situation. It provided dignity to our client because we weren't talking about them right in front of them, and we were able to bring awareness to the other folks over on the fact that person had dementia. This idea of a city being that aware of how many people are afflicted with this disease now, and being completely having things set up in a way, businesses and things in the community set up in a way that makes it friendly for those folks is so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Beyond cool. They have an event at a theater, the Imagine Theater here, and it is, I forget, is it once...
It's like once a month.
Okay. Once a month they offer a movie night, and it's specific to folks with dementia and Alzheimer's. And I think you probably talked with the gentleman about that a little more.
Yeah. They have staff on hand for caregiving. You know, if someone is coming and they don't have a loved one with them, they can help guide them. It's older movies. The lighting is a bit different. The sounds are a bit softer. It's just a cool concept.
And it's an old movie, so it's something that they would be familiar with. And especially if they're time traveling.
Sure.
They're definitely familiar with with those old classic movies.
But we'll let him talk about that.
Yeah. So anyway, that is like super cool.
It is.
That's beyond cool. So as far as, maybe financial services, where people are just trying to kind of figure out, what they should be doing at an older age to set themselves up to either be able to stay in their home or to have, a nest egg put, whatever it may be. There's many folks in the area, too, that offer those types of services.
Sure. I mean, and we have come across in quite a few different situations with families that we've worked with when we do touch on, does your mom or dad have a will?
Yeah.
Do you have power of attorney in case they're not able to make medical decisions or financial decisions for themselves? If they were hospitalized, do you have the ability to be able to help them navigate that a little bit better? And just really honing in on that, do you have a trust set up in order for those funds to be available to provide, whatever adequate housing they might need? So there's a lot that goes into that too, but we have plenty of people here that can speak to that. And
there's so many.
And what's going to be most helpful to folks. So
legacy planning and all of the things needed that really we should be starting now.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's part of being a village. Or
even earlier than now.
Right. That's part of being a village is helping bring people awareness to that and help them understand how important that piece is as well. You get so caught up in the day-to-day that you don't even think beyond that.
Sure.
So.
And I think a lot of folks don't even really realize that long-term care insurance is like a huge need. And that's also another, topic for another show. But some of these folks could maybe help people better understand what that looks like. We can tell you it's the only insurance that pays for what we do.
That's why we have it.
Yeah, that's what. Yes, we do have it.
We do.
So we have peeps and we have insurance.
To pay for the peeps.
So when we're old, we're going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
But it is when we're old.
Stop
it. I'm just saying. But no, it is something that really should be looked into if you haven't yet. So, but part of the legacy planning. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I mean, so I think we've touched on everything we wanted to just kind of highlight in this episode. And
this is the last episode, by the way, you're just going to see Sheila and I in. Well, there's a possibility that somewhere down the line it'll be just Sheila and I again having a conversation. Yeah. But we're hoping that moving forward it will always be you and I and a guest. That will have even more information for you about all of the resources that we offered. And honestly, folks, there's probably more resources that we haven't even touched on. And we'll be bringing those to you as well. Yeah. Yeah.
So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Make sure you click that bell and subscribe if you want to hear more about aging in Ann Arbor. That was A3 Aging Ann Arbor, your source for all things aging.
Please like, share, and subscribe for more episodes. Thanks for watching.
This episode was sponsored by Senior Helpers of Ann Arbor.